Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. There's Porter at you. As I promised, I was going to do a video of the Rose Garden, so I'll make this one a little quick, not too long. Just make a quick walk through the Rose Garden, just to show you guys what's going on here. You see, no pets, no bikes, whatever. Do a quick walk through this Rose Garden real quick. Like I said, it's going to be put the good in the bad. We put the good in the bad. And, you know, they keep this pretty good. Just going to do a quick walk through the Rose Garden here. So you can get an idea of what they have and what they don't have. And let's see. Yeah, so this is basically the Rose Garden in the Fenway. A lot of different flowers named after people and stuff like that. One day I'll do a more detailed video. But take a walk through here. Take a Take a quick walk around the park and see what else we can see. Just want to give you guys a brief view of what's going on here. Let's see. I'm just gonna kind of straddle the outside of this real quick. Like I said, this is the Rose Garden. A lot of people like to go in there and take pictures together. You know, it's pretty good. It's not a bad environment. Also, we got the Canadian geese over here. They're always around. They're pretty friendly. A little territorial, but other than that, not bad. So you got the park rangers over there. These geese, they almost look like turkeys. You got a park ranger. I don't know what he's or she's got over there. Don't she see something, or maybe there's homeless people over there? It's possible. Let's take a quick look and see what she's looking at. Something's over there. definitely stuff on the ground. So he's I guess he's got stuff over here that he shouldn't have over here. He's kind of making it look like a mess, to be honest with you. It's, you know, you got that. Got shoes on the ground. I don't know whose shoes those are.
Alright, let me grab a shark's container. I'll fix them up so that way no one steps on them, alright?
Got caps over here.
Hey sir, just be careful because we have needles out.
Yeah, I
and
see.
I don't want your dog stepping on them, alright?
Gotcha.
Let me just grab a shark's container in my vehicle, alright?
You got quite a. Yeah, see, Mighty Welsh needs to address this issue. And you're trying to have a beautiful city, and you have people leaving stuff like that in the area. That's not good. You know, if you're going to sleep here is one thing, but when you leave it a mess like that, that's something different. You create a hazardous environment. It's not good, you know. I don't think Mighty Welch is gonna care, but he should care. It's a shame that we have a park they're trying to keep nice, and then people are not appreciating it.
No, this is my Monday, actually. Oh, okay.
So it's kind of not good.
Alright, there you go. Alright, I'll come over there and help you, alright? Okay.
I was just saying it's a shame that you got a nice rose garden over here, but yet you get people over here messing up, making the place look bad.
I know.
And Mighty Welsh doesn't really care about it because I called him numerous times to ask him what he's gonna do about it, and he doesn't care.
Yeah, it's a tough situation.
Yeah, but it's what we have to live with in the city. You know, our mayor is pretty much bought and paid for by the investors, and he only does lip service to people that he cares about, or I should say he don't care about. You know, you don't want that stuff in your community. Like, I understand people are homeless, that's one thing. But when you start making the neighborhood look bad, that's another. Like, you could be homeless and not create a mess. I mean, you could be homeless and don't do drugs. I mean, there's nothing saying that you have to be homeless and do drugs. You do drugs because you choose to do drugs. Now, getting that required help is a different thing now. Either you want help or you don't want help. There's ones who just don't want help, and there's ones who do want help. Now, part of getting help is admitting that you have a problem. That's where you start. And if you don't admit that you have a problem, then you will never seek help. That's kind of, goes without saying. Now, there's some people who think they can do it, and, without help. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But part of the whole solution to the problem is admitting that you need help and that you have a problem. This is a nice looking tree here. It has to be hundreds and hundreds of years old. This tree has to be a minimum 100 years old, maybe more. If I was to guess, I would say close to 200, but just based on the thickness of the tree itself, has to be well over 100, 200. maybe 250 if that. That, wow, that's a pretty big tree. It's a pretty old tree. Like, I'm not no tree expert or arborist or anything like that, but that's a pretty big tree. Like, I don't know if you guys can see the actual, like, one day I have to get a tape measure and measure that. Has to be easily almost 30 feet around that tree. I could be wrong, but one day I gotta come out here with a tape measure and measure around that tree. That's a pretty big circumference. You probably have to get it at the widest point, which would be right around here. But that's a pretty big tree. I'm surprised they don't have the age of this tree written down somewhere. And what it looks like, I could be wrong. It looks like it could be a couple of trees intertwined with one. I could be wrong because I'm not no expert on this. It might just be two trees in one, 2 or 3 trees in one. It's kind of hard to say. I have to really look at it real close. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Now this is the other part I want to show you guys over here. I don't know if no, I didn't put this in my other video. It's not in there. But this is, it's like in the memory of all the women of Boston who lost their lives. And I guess it's representing all the men and women actually. So it's men and women, not just women. And there's the, I don't know if you guys can see that because the glare. Oh, maybe you can. In memory of the men and women of Boston who lost their lives in World War II. And that's a lot of names. We cannot even start to count all those names. Because trust me, it's a lot of names up there. There's a lot of names. And they put them in alphabetical order, but it is quite a few names. And I don't think I'm gonna have time to record them, or maybe I could. If I just do them double down. So those who may wanna check it out. Like I said, we have good and bad in the city. Looking at some of these names, look like quite a few might have been related to each other or very close of kin, because quite a few of them have like the I'm assuming that's the last name first. And it looks like a lot of them have the same last name. Yeah, a lot of them have, like, you know, they had to be closely, back in those days, they had to be very closely related. Cousins, nephews, uncles, and they all have, like, you know, very, like, quite a bit of them have, like, the last names of, like a whole bunch of them. And back in those days, the families were, like, large families. So they had to either been somewhat related or distantly related. And it's a lot of names to lose in World War II. And the last name, it looked like it's probably an add-on. I'm not sure how. Maybe it's a name that was forgotten. Let's get the rest of this park here. Let's see what we got over here. Not sure what this is. Just want to take a quick peek at it. Maybe it's just a podium. Maybe it's just a podium. Nothing really on there. Might have to take a look at the Vietnam and Korean one as well. Well, can't hurt, right? Well, there's something in front of that. It's like a, if you guys can see that. Alright. Right there. Let's take a look at over here, the Vietnam. It says 1962 to 1975. Raymond Flynn. He was probably one of the better mayors that we had, that I could remember in my time anyway. I was a little too young to remember Kevin White. I remember him kind of vaguely, but Ray Flynn was the one that I can remember as a kid. Like, he would always jog up and down through the city. No matter what town you were in, you were guaranteed to run across Ray Flynn jogging. Whether it's South Boston, East Boston, Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, any one of those towns, you can see Ray Flynn jogging. And most time he was by himself. You know, he would always stop and talk to you and stuff like that. That's when the city was a real